of you are probably like, oh my God, I am someone who had sex with Saddam Hussein. Don't worry, it was only a hand job, I swear. So, I know a lot of you here that I went to high school with know just how awesome I was and how sexy I was. You know, I was like captain of the cheerleading squad and prom and homecoming queen. And when I say that, I mean I was really president of the math club and captain of the golf team. So it's no surprise to you that I didn't lose my virginity till a very, very late age in life. But I'm sure a lot of you are like, well, you know, at some point you had to lose it. You had to go out there. Like, why'd you wait so long? Well, I had a lot of factors working against me. Perhaps this will explain things. You see, I am a recovered Jesus addict. And by Jesus addict, I mean pure and innocent virgin. And when I say I'm recovered, it means that all of my Christian friends probably think that I'm a dirty whore. And it all started when I was really young. I mean, isn't that the root of everything? Daddy issues? I swear, my father shoved religion down my throat, probably to keep me from shoving other things down my throat. And it felt like his whole purpose in life was to keep me from getting laid. You know, he told me when I was little that if I had sex, he would be able to tell because I'd lose that special sparkle in my eye. I was like, what the hell? What kind of sparkle? And I didn't know like what this looked like. So what I did is I went to Sunday school and I studied the girls' eyes there. And then I went to public school where, you know, and I'd study the eyes of the class sluts and I'd do a comparison. And the only thing that I learned was that the class sluts were way hotter than the church girls. But it was really important for me to do everything to make Daddy happy and to keep my sparkle. Well, according to what I learned in church, sex meant penile penetration. So I was perfectly justified dry humping my high school boyfriend in his mother's 1990 Buick. It didn't matter that at the end of each date, when my parents weren't spying on me from the front house window, he'd pull into the driveway, turn the car engine off, and then I'd unbuckle my seatbelt and hop on over to the driver's side and align the crotch of my jeans with the bulging crotch of his jeans and just grind away until I had an orgasm. Not that I knew what an orgasm was. Jesus didn't consider this sex, so I could keep my sparkle. But then my father told me I shouldn't even be listening to music above 120 beats per minute, otherwise I might become sexually aroused. Oh shit, I was gonna lose my sparkle dancing the Macarena at prom. And then we had that whole birth control discussion. You know what he told me? Laura, the only birth control you need is an aspirin. Stick it between your legs and don't let it drop. Clearly, I was misinformed about the birds and the bees. Ironically, and Irene, raise your hand. My dad's sister, Irene, raise your hand, raise your hand. For my 3rd birthday, she got me this book, How Babies Are Made. And by the time I was 4 years old, I was really well versed with the workings of my ovaries and my fallopian tubes and my uterus. I also learned from this book that it takes a penis to make a baby. I'm going to show you, this book really spares no details. My mom was so excited that my aunt bought this for me. This dog has a major erection. Savannah, turn your eyes away. There's some chickens. Oh wait, I can't forget the dogs that are actually doing it doggy style. So, you know, I thought, what better way to practice making a baby than with Barbie and Ken? I had a ton of Barbies and Kens growing up, so after giving them a proper Catholic wedding, because, you know, Barbie needed to keep her sparkle, I tried to get them to conceive, but it didn't work. Their genitals didn't look anything like the diagrams in those books. So I was like, well, I gotta learn more about this whole penis thing. So I go to the mall, Gulfview Square Mall, and I started grabbing the crotches on the male mannequins. And they didn't have like real penises either. And then I had to stop that game because one time I went to grab what I thought was a mannequin and stopped myself short of grabbing a man. And luckily though, senior year in high school, we had career job shadowing day. I don't know if any of you remember that or partook in it. And I thought I wanted to be a surgeon. That clearly did not happen. But I went to job shadow a surgical nurse and thought, oh, it's Newport Richey, Florida. I'm going to watch a lot of cardiovascular surgeries. Well, apparently Newport Richey is plagued with a lot of prostate problems. And I go into the operating room, and there's this old man, like, on the operating table, and he's getting his penis lasered, and there's this big metal tube coming out of his pee hole. So I was like, oh my God, what is this, like some Star Wars porno flick? So I'm like in high school about to graduate, and I still don't know. It's like Ken doesn't have a normal penis, the mannequins don't have penises, and this guy has a lightsaber coming out of his. So to remedy the situation, I applied to West Point. Because what better place to learn about the male anatomy than a military academy? I mean, that place is just one giant sausage fest. They have like phallic imagery everywhere with all these guns and cannons. They even have like the famous battle monument. It's basically a giant shaft with balls. Google it. I really think Congress just ought to change the name to Penis Point. So I get to West Point. I'm ready to learn, embark on my new education. And wouldn't you know, there's this rule that if a man and a woman are alone in a room, they have to leave the door wide open. I guess West Point only condones gay sex. Therefore, I ended up graduating. I'm commissioned a new lieutenant in the Army, and I still don't know my way around the penis. And then, oh my God, Bush declares war in Iraq. Well, how am I supposed to get laid now? Wait a minute. Was this some kind of conspiracy? Did my father order up the war just so I couldn't get laid? Well, let me tell you. You might not realize this, but when emotions are flying high on the battlefield and people are amped full of testosterone, it can really make you crave things like you've never craved them before. And luckily, just like Jesus told George Bush that he can invade Iraq, Jesus told me that I could finally have sex. Amen.